Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of Offsides and On One, a hockey podcast where we're loud, proud, and probably in the penalty box. I'm your host, Evan Moore, and we have a lot to cover this week because guess what? I missed last week again. So let's just get right into it. Okay, so the reason I missed last week was because finals. Shocking because they're hard. I'm a journalism major, so 90% of my finals are projects, meaning that they were due a week before actual finals, which is this week. And I only have one final that's on Friday, and that's just god-awful. But anyway, most of my finals were projects, so I was very busy last week and unable to record an episode. But if you follow on Instagram, you saw that sick graphic I made, so you're welcome for that. But it doesn't matter. What's in the past is in the past. Today, it's a new day. So, a new day, new podcast. Anyway, yeah, this week's ep is going to be a little bit all over the place because there's a lot and a lot of different categories. I tried my best to somewhat put everything in categories. And the main categories for this week are going to be ridiculous goals, major news, internet shenanigans, the typical Yinzer Glaze Fest, what else is new, a personal thank you to the Chicago Blackhawks, and of course our regularly scheduled programming with the winners and losers of the week, and of course, Bag-O hockey cards. So, first up, I want to start with some ridiculous goals. Like I said, this is covering the last 2 weeks, but yeah, I'm going to start from the oldest to the newest. So, the first one we got was couple goals, literally. In the Victoire's home opener in the PWHL against the Sirens, Marie-Philippe Poulin and Laura Stacey connected for an awesome 2-on-1 snipe, and the Victoire would go on to win this game 4-0 and bring the house down for their home opener. If you don't know, Marie-Philippe Poulin and Laura Stacey are married. It's super adorbs, and they scored an incredible 2-on-1 for literal couple goals. So next for incredible goals, Elias Pettersson had a ridiculous goal from the ice in San Jose. I was watching this game, so I was just absolutely shocked when this happened. Usually I see these goals on highlights, but, I was locked in on this one. It was super late, but I was locked in. So basically what happened was the puck rolled down the ice into the boards where Evander Kane knocked the bouncing puck loose into the slot, and Pettersson was just sitting there waiting for it. He settled the puck down, shook off the absolute minimal attempt from the Sharks defenders, spun around, fell to his knees because Macklin Celebrini knocked him over, and then scored from the ice. Like, what are we talking about? This goal was ridiculous. It was very Ovi-esque. We all remember that iconic Ovi goal from him on the ice rolling over to put the puck in the net, but this wasn't quite as awesome as that one, but it was still pretty sick. The picture that I have up here for everyone to see with your lovely eyes, it's just awesome. That still of, like, just being knocked down onto the ice and being, oh, look, the puck's in the net. The Canucks would go on to lose this game 2-3, unfortunately enough for them. Then, a few days later, there was an unbelievable snipe from Cole Caulfield when the Habs traveled to Vegas. This shot was just ridiculous. There was hardly any room above the left shoulder of the goaltender, but let's be real, if you give Cole Caulfield any sort of daylight, he's going to find it and put the puck in the net. I don't know how he keeps getting these to go in, but he does. I swear, every week, I mean, I don't always mention it on here because we would literally be talking about it every week, but I swear there's always some ridiculous shot from Cole Caulfield. They call him Gold Caulfield for a reason, so should not be shocking, but I just don't know how he keeps getting his pucks in the net. It's just it doesn't even look like there should be enough room at that point for the puck to go in, but lo and behold. Then, of course, this goal had to be in here. If you follow hockey closely, you're already thinking about this when I bring up incredible goals from the last 2 weeks. Connor Bedard cooked up an ungodly goal against the Ducks at home last Monday. When the Ducks were trying to clear the puck, like their lives actually depended on it, both the Ducks failed to see that Connor Bedard was in the office that evening, and Bedard took the puck right into the slot and deked the pads off of Ville Husso. It was unbelievable. It was just, I don't even know. It's honestly one of those goals where there's not even enough words to talk about it. It was unbelievable. But this was certainly my favorite goal in the last 2 weeks. And Connor Bedard just continues to show his patience and absolute mastery in these high pressure situations. I mean, he just immediately locked in and just the hands of a surgeon on that guy. I don't know how he manages to keep so calm in situations like that, but it was incredible, and a goal that I think we're certainly going to be seeing on highlight reels for the rest of the season, and in Connor Bedard highlight reels from now on, definitely. Bedard had another disgusting goal this week, but I'm going to talk about that more later because it was against the Vegas Golden Knights, and I have a whole little thing for that later. So lock in for that. Next up, again, this is another obvious choice for this category, but we have the Palmieri snatch and assist with a torn ACL. So basically what happened during this play was Palmieri took a hit in the corner behind the Flyers net. He was slow to his feet, but they didn't blow the play down because he was trying to get up on his own and managed to get himself up. He was skating over to the bench, and the Flyers defense had no idea he was back there. So Palmieri stripped the puck, sauced it over to Jonathan Drouin, who left it back, and Heinemann buried the puck as Palmieri made his way down the tunnel with, again, a torn ACL. This is certainly, in my opinion, a goal of the year candidate, not even based off the goal itself. Assist of the year doesn't have the same ring to it, so goal of the year in my book. It's just, I don't know how do you do that? How do you tear your ACL on the corner? He pulled himself up and skated over the bench perfectly fine. Not only did he do that, but he stripped the puck and then got an apple. Hello. What are you talking about? What other sport are we doing that in? None of them. Any other sport, they're getting carted off the field or carried off the court, whatever. I don't care. Nobody is doing it like hockey, and certainly nobody's doing it like Kyle Palmieri. Due to time constraints, I'm just going to give a brief mention of these two goals. We had two really sick between the legs goals last week. One was from the Predators' Matthew Wood against the Hurricanes, and the other was from the Isles' Callum Ritchie against the Lightning. These were both really gross, and it was cool to see two between the legs goals like this in the same week. Like I said, we have time constraints. I made it to the big leagues today, boys. I'm in. Literally not. I rented the digital creation space at my college, so this is really sick. I feel really important, but it's literally just a room with sound padding. But there is a really cool like studio area over in the other corner, so I'm gonna have to check that out one day because there's like multiple mics and everything and a green screen and cameras and things that I can't afford. So maybe I'll learn how to use those and you get a sick episode one day next semester. Okay, lastly, to wrap up this category, I know this isn't a goal, but it was one hell of a save, and I had to mention it. So this, obviously, I'm talking about Linus Ullmark's diving Superman save to keep the puck out of an empty net. Basically, what happened is he was headed towards the bench for an extra attacker when he noticed a flying puck was heading towards his crease, and he just stopped dead in his tracks. I mean, textbook hockey stop. And then dove, stick out, stretched to stop the puck from going in the net and keeping the Sabres out from that empty netter. That was awesome. That's seriously like just totally putting his body on the line there. You don't usually see a goalie do that because obviously they're quite fragile and very important. So they're not always risking that, but he didn't want that puck going in the net, and he was still on the ice and he saw it and he turned right around. He knows what his paychecks are getting cut for. That wraps up the ridiculous goals portion of the show. And now I'm just going to go into some general news from around the sport. I'm going to try my very hardest to speed run this while also being informative as possible. Because, frankly, this is the boring portion of the show, and I want to talk about things that I saw on the internet. So I'm going to speed run. So lock in. Everybody get your notepads out. All right, first up. Marie-Philippe Poulin became the first player in PWHL history to score 30 goals and record 50 points. What a legend. I mean, come on. If you people aren't watching the PWHL, I'm judging you. That silence was me judging you. But yeah, everybody loves Pooh. She's incredible. I don't need to tell you that. You already know that. If you watch hockey, you know these things. Next up, Matthew Shaver became the first teenage defenseman to score 8 goals in his first 25 career games, passing the legend Bobby Orr, who had 7 in his first 25. Next, last week, Chris Letang scored his 12th career overtime winning goal in the Penguins' 4-3 overtime win against the Blue Jackets and passed Mario Lemieux for the 3rd most overtime goals in Penguins history. I just needed to throw a shout out in there for Tanger because they were really blasting that all over the broadcast last week. Anyway, moving on. Caroline Harvey set the record for the most career points by a defender in the WCHA with 168 points last week, 2 weeks ago actually, on November 29th. She is just, I don't even have the words. I don't even have the words. I'm going to be honest, I don't love always watching college hockey because sometimes I get bored. Don't make fun of me. Don't make fun of me. I can feel your judgment. But when I do watch college hockey, it's going to be the Badgers and it's going to be Caroline Harvey. And listen, people, she better get to the PWHL now, yesterday. The draft could not come any sooner for her. A few days ago, the Wall of St. Paul, Jesper Wallstedt, and again, if I said that wrong, you can make fun of me because I always have trouble with his name, recorded his 4th shutout this season in just 10 starts. Are you people hearing me correctly? 4 shutouts in 10 starts. Hello. Like, the Vezina winner, the Wall of St. Paul. Anyway, lastly, it was announced by the Olympic Committee that there is no backup plan in place in case the Olympic hockey arena isn't finished being constructed in time for the games in February. So, if you don't know anything about this, the construction of the arena where the hockey tournaments are supposed to take place in Italy are incredibly behind schedule and not finished by any means. And the Olympics start in February. That's going to be 2 months from now, people. That's going to be 2 months from now. And there is no backup plan. So I don't know what they're going to do. Hopefully they get it done. I'm sure they will. But hey, if not, I'm going to get on the same train that Paul Bissonnette is on and make them move them to North America. Let's be real. Because, like, everybody here cares about what's going on. So bring the Olympics to PPG Pace Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You heard it here first, folks. That's an Offsides and On One original. Dude, that would be crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Biz on that when it comes to bringing the Olympics here if they don't get that figured out. Just the hockey portion, not the entirety, obviously. Just like do them in Edmonton or something where we actually care about hockey. Anyway, that's all for the major news. But also in this portion, this is like a little miscellaneous piece because I didn't really know where to put it. I want to talk about the Stars' new 3rd retro jerseys here because, well, new in air quotes because they came out 2 weeks ago. But they are so nasty. I love these jerseys. They are a reimagined version of their 1999 Cup winning threads, and they were revealed on November 26th. And one of my favorite things about this whole thing was that Brett Hull was the model for the jersey and the little video thing that they had on Instagram. And of course, he's standing there with his foot in the crease, modeling his beautiful Cup winning jerseys. I don't know. I just thought these jerseys are so gross. And Otter's pads that he has with these, oh my God. Like, as if I didn't love him enough, he's one of my favorite players. That's not a Penguin, obviously. Like I mentioned in episodes previously, I have a weird superstition about not buying jerseys for other teams. And I don't know why. Don't ask me why. It's just a thing that I have. But I really would. I would break my superstition for these. Just like I said, I would break my superstition for those Blackhawks jerseys, the 3rd Blackhawks jerseys. Ugh. But anyway, if you have a lot of money and you listen to this podcast and you want to send me a Jake Ottinger jersey of these 3rd jerseys, please do. I would really appreciate you. Maybe I'd even give you a shout out. Shout out to the 5 people that listen to this podcast. Anyway, that's going to do it for the news portion of this show. And finally, I've waited 15 whole minutes. 15 whole minutes to get into the internet shenanigans. This is my home. This is where I live. Obviously, you all know that. I talk about tweets on this podcast 24/7. And that's what this whole portion of the show is going to be. Tweets, TikToks, Instagrams, whatever. I don't care. Social media. It's all of it. So first up, in our internet shenanigans portion of the show, I'm starting off with a bang. And again, if you follow niche hockey social media or just are on hockey Twitter in general, I'm sure you heard about this. But Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen got totally trolled by Sabres fans on Twitter because he hit the bars immediately after getting back to Buffalo after the Sabres lost to the Penguins on November 26th. The Sabres lost 2-4 in Pittsburgh, and Luukkonen was seen out at the bars at around 12:40, I believe it was. Yes, I have the tweet in front of me. It was 12:40 that he was seen out at the bars, which was, it would have been an hour after the plane landed in Buffalo. Just let the boy live. Let the boy go out if he wants to go out. Like I said, Blackout Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Hello. God forbid he wants to be festive. I mean, just, I don't know. I think that is so stupid and honestly just disrespectful to whip out your phone at a bar and be like, hey, I know that guy. He plays for the Sabres. Oh, they just lost. Let me flame him on the internet. Like, what? Hello? That's stupid. And whoever recorded that video, honestly, you're a scumbag. But just let the boy live. If he wants a couple beers, so be it. You get a 4-piece dropped on you by the Pittsburgh Penguins in the Big 25, you're going to need to blow off a little steam. God forbid they want to go to the bars. God forbid. And I just think they're like, oh, it was after a loss. They should be holding them to a higher standard or whatever. But what, do you want him to live in his apartment? They play 82 games. Do you want him to never leave his apartment in Buffalo, New York? He's just going to be sad and stuck in the snow with Josh Allen. But anyway, yeah, this whole thing was stupid with a capital S. And he should be able to do whatever he wants. It's not like I don't know. It's harmless. Again, they didn't play a game for 3 days after this. The next day was Thanksgiving. He had a 2-day break. Let that boy live. So next, going to a more positive area of internet shenanigans, Kat Toffoli posted a TikTok of Will Smith's banana bread that was a total hit at the Sharks Thanksgiving. The Toffolis hosted Thanksgiving this year and invited the whole team and everybody. It was like a, Thanksgiving potluck sort of thing. And Will Smith brought banana bread. And I bring this up specifically because what is it with hockey players and banana bread? And by hockey players, I mean one other person, and that other person is Sidney Crosby. Because he's, known for his famous banana bread. That's one of the things that's, just a stupid little niche fact. He makes banana bread at the beginning of the season and gives banana bread to his teammates. It's just, the boy loves to bake. The legend loves to bake. But I don't know. I was like, banana bread. That sounds familiar. What is with them? A banana bread is great. I make a bomb banana bread, honestly. It's not to pat myself on the back, but it's pretty damn good. But yeah, it just, I don't know. Something about, maybe because it's easy. I don't know. That seems derogatory. I don't mean it in a way that they can't bake. It's just that banana bread is simple. But yeah, that's basically, I'm playing investigative journalist, being like, banana bread. What is the connection here? But there is no connection. It's just because banana bread is good. Anyway, moving on. I saw this on TikTok a few days ago, and I was like, this isn't real. And it was, in fact, real. I did some investigative journalism. Again, hello, callback. And the Kalamazoo Wings, and if you don't know, the Kalamazoo Wings are in the ECHL. They had a Wicked-themed night that they called the Wicked Wings. And they didn't just have a Wicked giveaway or themed jerseys or something like they usually do in the ECHL. The ice was pink and green. The playing surface was pink and green. Half of it was pink, half of it was green. I am obsessed with this. As somebody who's a big fan of Wicked, I thought this was great. But how in the world do you play a hockey game on pink and green ice? I would have been so confused the entire time. And if I was a goalie, oh, hell no. I would have been like, I'm not playing. Take me out, coach. Put me on the bench, coach. I'm not playing on freaking bright pink ice. That would have just driven me crazy. But they played, and the Wings ended up winning in overtime, so big dub for them. Maybe they should keep the ice pink and green all the time. Okay, next. The San Jose Sharks admin just stays unbeaten still. Specifically because of this tweet with Will Smith holding a pair of scissors and the caption, y'all wanted Will Smith to find some scissors, right? It's like whoever runs this account is so chronically online, and I respect it so much. I love it. Because obviously on every single post with Will Smith in it, every teenage girl that's ever existed is like, oh no, don't let him get anywhere near scissors. The same thing that they do to Harry Styles. And by they, I include myself in that because I do that to Harry Styles too. Nobody wants him to cut his hair. Everybody loves his hair like that. So the chronically online admin of the Sharks poked some fun at that. So let's move on to one of the most incredible tweets I've seen in the past few weeks. This is from Stone Cold Sid on Twitter, one of the pinnacles of my being on hockey Twitter. I absolutely love this account. But this tweet reads, our Christmas tree is up. Couldn't choose between an angel and a star, so I went with both. And clipped on the top of the tree is a lovely picture of Ben Kindle. I mean, I can't honestly think of a better way to describe Ben Kindle than an angel and a star, because that's just the truth. Amen. And I know that's right. But speaking of Ben Kindle, this is really random. But the other day, my roommate gave me this little tiny baby penguin thing. They're supposed to be like for good luck. And she gave it to me and I said, I name him Ben Kindle. Because it's a baby penguin. What else would I name it? But yeah, this tweet was just all time. Super great. And honestly, I'm going to steal that. My roommate and I have a Christmas tree in our dorm. And it's decorated with a bunch of random things that we've printed out and cut out to put on the tree. And our star is Sidney Crosby. I'll put a picture of it up here for everybody to see because it's really great. But I might have to rethink and make one of Ben Kindle because I really like that idea. Thank you, Stone Cold Sid, for that idea. Last up, before we get into the Yinzer Glaze Fest that I know you're all just so excited for. I know you cannot wait for that. This tweet had me absolutely dying in the middle of the night. Like, I was laughing, I was giggling to myself. And it's a photo of the Dominator, Dominic Hasek, obviously, with the caption, Tristan Jarry when the stakes could not be lower. And I don't know why I thought this was so funny, but it had me rolling. Like, I just, for some reason, thought this was hilarious. Mainly because it's so true. Because, Jars, you just, I love you, but only sometimes. So, anyway. Now for everybody's favorite and least favorite part of the show, I'm going to talk about my Penguins. Bow, 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 bow. Lock in. Everybody lock in. Get your seatbelts on. Here we are at my favorite part of the show where I get to be totally delusional. Welcome to Pittsburgh Hour, where I'm just talking about my Penguins. I'm going to take a total 180 from the last thing I just said, and I want to take a moment to personally apologize to Tristan Jarry on behalf of the entire city of Pittsburgh. So basically, Jars, we're sorry. Those trade rumors came up and he turned into the second coming of Jesus. I mean, truthfully, he just absolutely completely turned around with the play style, and he has played phenomenally the past few nights, and especially last night against the Stars. I just caught myself being like, who are you? Because who are you and what did you do with Tristan? Because that's not him. And I'm like, well, yes it is. That's always been a common theme for Jars though. And when he's on fire, he is on fire. And then when he's not feeling so great, it's just like, oh, right, no. Because I would have stopped that. No, I wouldn't have. But I like to pretend to say that, just like every other person watching hockey games from their couch. I could have saved that. No, you couldn't. But I still say it. Anyway, moving on from that. Penguins draft pick Will Horcroft refuses to stop scoring for the Wolverines up there in Ann Arbor. He, like I said earlier, I don't typically watch a lot of college hockey, but when I do, it's the big dogs. And one of those big dogs is obviously Michigan. And obviously I'm tuning in for him because the future. Have to lock in on the future of the Pittsburgh Penguins, people. But in his last 20 games, he has 19 goals. Are you hearing me, people? That's going to be 19 goals in 20 games. So I just, thought I wanted to bring that up for all you people that are skeptical of the Penguins and, the rebuild movement. Guess what? Hey, guess what? That's going to be 19 goals in 20 games. Let me say it one more time to get it through your heads. 19 goals in 20 games. He's a sophomore. So yeah, basically lock in because we're so back and the rebuild doesn't even have to happen. Forget the rebuild, we've already rebuilt. Anyway, remember when I said this is delusion hour? Here we go. Beyond that, I would like to take a moment to not apologize to, but thank Kevin Hayes for the unbelievable goal against the Flyers last week. And I'd like to particularly thank him for winning Pittsburgh Big Macs on the Big Mac attack, because I don't remember the last time the Penguins scored on the Big Mac attack. If you're not a Penguins fan, that's basically in the last 5 minutes of the game. If the Penguins score, you get a free Big Mac if you have the Penguins app. So download the Penguins app basically, and if at participating McDonald's, Pittsburgh Sportsnet, hire me. I'm available. Anyway, but this was a really great goal, but it was also hilarious because on the broadcast, like on the game, you could hear him yelling, Parker, because Parker Wotherspoon is down the ice and Hazy's like taking off. He's already at center ice and he's yelling at him to send the puck up to him. It was a crazy long pass and he was wide open, and it was an absolute dime from Wotherspoon. I mean, a ridiculous pass right on his tape, and then Hazy took off and put the puck in the net. It was awesome. But yeah, thank you for the goal, and thank you for the Big Macs, even though I didn't get a Big Mac because I'm currently stuck in a hockey wasteland. This is a hockey desert, and none of the McDonald's down here recognize the Big Mac attack. So they'll just have to score over break so I can lock into the Big Mac attack. Okay, so this next little piece is like the opposite of a glaze fest, but I didn't want to put this in the internet shenanigans, even though it certainly is an internet shenanigan. But it's Pittsburgh Penguins specific, so I wanted to put it in the insert portion of the show. But basically, this is from Hockey Talkie Club on TikTok, and I saw this and it actually made me die laughing. But they had basically asked ChatGPT to describe Penguins players, and I picked the 3 that I thought were the best, which is going to be Erik Karlsson, Evgeny Malkin, and Tristan Jarry. And this is basically what they read. I'm going to start with Erik Karlsson first. It called Erik Karlsson the odd man rush generator, and it describes him as Karlsson's defense is basically interpretive dance. Lots of movement, zero purpose. Every time he pinches, the Penguins bench starts praying like they're about to watch a live car crash with premium camera angles. I thought that was ridiculous. This one's even better. This is Evgeny Malkin, and they called him Gino the Glitch. And it says, Gino plays like he's permanently stuck on shuffle mode. One shift, he's a demigod. The next, he's doing accidental giveaways like he's sponsored by charity. His hockey brain lags so hard sometimes that you think someone's unplugged his Wi-Fi mid-game. And then, honestly, this is the best one. Tristan Jarry. I know I just apologized to him, but hey, guess what? I gotta stick to my old ways. Anyway, Tristan Jarry, Mr. April Anxiety. Regular season Jarry plays like he's auditioning for the Vezina. Playoff Jarry plays like he's afraid of the puck, and the puck knows it. Every glove save attempt looks like he's trying to catch a falling iPhone with oven mitts on. Penguins fans don't track his save percentage, they track their rising blood pressure. Watching him in high-pressure games is basically an unpaid horror movie marathon. And if I haven't heard something so true, maybe AI is the future. Because it's certainly onto something with this. Because, I mean, Lord, that ain't the truth. An unpaid horror movie marathon. Amen. Amen. All right. Anyway, moving on from that. Thank you, Hockey Talkie Club, for that incredible work that you're doing there with ChatGPT, with our good friend Chat. Don't use ChatGPT. There's a PSA. It's funny as a joke, but don't use ChatGPT. Anyway, moving forward. Remember last episode when I said I was going to a Penguins game soon, and then I totally forgot by the end of the episode to mention what game it was? So I'm going to tell you now. You're welcome. So basically, this weekend, Y'all ready for this? I'm going to be so annoying. I'm going to be so annoying next week, everybody. I'm going to the Penguins Sharks game on December 13th, 3 rows up from the ice. Read it and weep. All you praying on my downfall, I know you're like that little rat, that meme of the rat like holding his fist. I know you're so pissed. I'm so excited. Basically what this message is to say is to not brag, but to say you're going to be sick of me, because this is all I'm going to be talking about. I am so excited. I usually, when I attend Penguins games, am up there in the nosebleeds. Section 219 is my usual area because tickets are quite cheap up there, but not today, folks. I'm playing rich today, and I deserve it. I know that's right. But yeah, I am incredibly excited for that, and I can't wait. And follow me on TikTok because I'm going to be posting about it every 45 seconds, and you're going to be really tired of it. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I think that pretty much wraps up the Yinzer Glaze Fest. Yeah, buckle up, Penguins fans, because hey, guess what, we're winning the cup. And guess what, Sidney Crosby's going to be hoisting his 4th Stanley Cup come June, and when that happens, you might as well just like put a crown on me, because I'm a prophet. I am the hockey prophet, and treat me as such, and can't wait to see you in June for the Penguins' 6th Stanley Cup. Thank you. Amen. I know that's right. All right. The delusion has ended. We have reached the end of the delusion period. If any of you skipped that portion, how dare you? But welcome back. Now I just want to take a moment to, again, thank somebody, but not a person. Well, sort of a person. I want to thank the Chicago Blackhawks, particularly Connor Bedard, for absolutely embarrassing Carter Hart in his return with the Golden Knights. Connor Bedard had that ridiculous goal against him in the shootout. He scored twice in this game, by the way. But that goal in the shootout was just, I mean, he danced him right out of his pads. That was unbelievable. I would have, if I was Carter Hart, honestly, he had some incredible audacity to begin with, but I would have just put my head down and ran away. And guess what? Conveniently, would you believe that? He's out with an upper body injury. Coincidence? I think not. Anyway, thank you, Connor Bedard. Thank you, Blackhawks, for making him look like a fool, because he is a fool. And not everybody sees that, but guess what? I do. Hey, I do. Can't stand that guy. If you're a Carter Hart fan, this is not a safe space for you. And you should have learned that by now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that little bit. And I'm going to go into these standings. Okay, so to get into the standings here, we have in the Atlantic, the Lightning are leading with 34 points. Then in the Metro, we have the Capitals leading with 39 points. Unfortunately. Sorry. Sorry, Cavs fans. Then we have the Avs leading the Central with 48 points. And the Ducks are leading the Pacific with 37 points. And obviously, this has not changed. And honestly, I doubt will change. The Avs lead the league with 48 points. They've led the league all season. Hey, all season. Nathan MacKinnon is not real. He's a cheat code, and I will stand by that. But now we're going to go ahead and get into the winners and losers of this week. Okay, first up, we got our winners. And we only have one winner this week because I put most of my tweets in the internet shenanigans section, so we only have one winner this week. But this week's winner, and honestly, a winner for a long time, and an ultimate winner, up for winner of the year candidate, is this lady who held up these signs behind Carter Hart during warm-ups in his return with the Vegas Golden Knights. The signs read, "Keep hockey a happy place, character off ice matters, always advance, never retreat, stand for survivors." I saw some other tweets saying that the Golden Knights security was taking signs off of people that were opposing Carter Hart, which that is pathetic and absolutely ridiculous, and frankly frames the Vegas Golden Knights perfectly, because of course they would do that. But this lady, honestly, incredibly brave for doing that, standing up there and holding those signs, because there was way too many signs in that crowd and up against the glass supporting Carter Hart, a lot more than I would like. And there were a lot of women holding those signs, which is just upsetting. And just read, hey, open your laptop and read an article maybe once, and then I think your mind would be changed and you wouldn't be holding those signs in support of him. But I have mad respect for this lady, and I wish I knew her name. It wasn't on the internet or anything. I just saw these pictures of her. But yeah, mad respect for her and everybody else that held up signs in opposition to Carter Hart, and those security guards that took the signs that people had saying that he's a scumbag, because he is a scumbag and he shouldn't be playing in the NHL. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for that part, and that's going to do it for the winners of this week. So let's go into the losers. So my first loser this week is going to be the Detroit Red Wings, for nothing that they've done on the ice, but because they copied my Penguins with the gravy boat Zamboni idea. How dare you, Detroit? How dare you? I mean, I am just shocked and appalled. This, if you don't know, is a very near and dear things to Pittsburgh Penguins fans' heart, is the Zamboni gravy boats that are the giveaways for every year's Thanksgiving game. If we don't play on Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, whatever, doesn't matter. The Thanksgiving-themed giveaway is always the Zamboni gravy boat, and the damn Red Wings said, that's a great idea, I'm copying it. How rude. Just unbelievable. You're an original six team, and you can't come up with your own damn ideas. The Sabres came up with their own idea. They had a butter dish. Why didn't you copy the Sabres? No, you just had to copy my Penguins, and I took it personally. So, yeah. Come up with your own Thanksgiving giveaway. Anyway, next, we have one more loser this week. It's going to be Gwen Phillips, who is one of the goalies for the Ottawa Charge. And she is a loser this week. Because, again, for nothing that she's done on the ice, she's been spectacular recently, actually. But she is a loser this week for being a professional goaltender and not being able to recognize Carey Price. So the context for this situation is that Gwen's goalie partner, Logan Angers, and teammate Taylor House made a slideshow for her of players that they thought that she couldn't name, because apparently she's known for not being able to recognize some very important people in hockey. Well, I guess very important is a stretch, because some of the people mentioned in the TikTok weren't very important. Matthew Tkachuk. Anyway, who said that? Did you guys hear that? God, I'm scared. Anyway, they made a slideshow for her about players that they thought she wouldn't be able to recognize, and she, after a little bit of help, ended up getting Connor Hellebuck, which was great. But when Carey Price was set up on the screen, she had no idea. She was like, is that a recent picture? Who? I don't know. Like, it was hilarious. But when they told her it was Carey Price, she was just like, what? No, it's not. But honestly, I respect it. That's a great work-life balance that she has, to not be able to pick Carey Price out of a crowd. But yeah, I was like, how do you play in the PWHL, your job as a professional goaltender, and you can't recognize Carey Price? We need to sit this girl in front of a television now and make her watch some Carey Price highlights. But yeah, honestly, I respect it, and I wish I didn't know who Matthew Tkachuk was either, if I'm being totally honest. But yeah, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for our losers of the week. And one more segment of this show, we have, of course, bag of hockey cards, and I got to dig my bag out of my backpack because it's in the very bottom, smushed by everything. All right, folks, I've given the bag a mix. I'm going to go ahead and reach and see what we find. Okay, I have one. It's spoken. Oh my god. Why does this I feel like this keeps happening. Did we not have a penguin last week too? I got Chris Letang. All-Star Chris Letang with a C. Oh my God. Chris Letang, captain of the All-Star team. Damn. This, you know what, people? Like I said, I mentioned it earlier. Prophet. It's me. I'm a prophet. The hockey prophet. It's me. This means, I'm telling you right now, Chris Letang is scoring this Saturday when I'm going to be in attendance 3 rows up from the ice. Chris, if you can hear me, score a goal this weekend, please. But yeah, this is a sick card, actually. I didn't even know I had this. This is from the 2020-2021 season, from the All-Star game that year when I believe it was him and Tristan Jarry were our All-Stars that season. But yeah, some sick gloves, some sick White Warrior gloves. But yeah, that's going to pretty much do it. I think that's a great omen for this week moving forward. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for me this week, folks. This episode, like I said, was a total mess. I'm in a new environment. I'm currently looking at some sound foam and not my usual bed in my dorm. But yeah, that's going to pretty much do it. I'm going to hopefully, no, I'm going to be back. I'm saying it right now. I'm going to be back to weekly because winter break is coming up and I'll be able to record episodes. So yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you for sitting here with me for this absolutely ridiculous episode that's almost 50 minutes long. I appreciate you all for listening, and I hope you enjoyed. Go back and listen to the other episodes if you missed. Go ahead and follow us on social media. They're all up here on the screen, and my personal TikTok is linked in the description because that's the only one I actually post on. So go check that out. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Remember, kids, keep in mind that Chris Letang was our bag of hockey cards pick this week, so this week is going to be great. Wasn't last week Chris Kunitz? Or was that 2 weeks ago? I don't remember. Anyway, it's going to be a good week, everyone. And hopefully next week we pick something other than a Penguin for everybody on here that's not Penguins fans. But yeah, thank you all. Tune in next Tuesday for another episode. And yeah, appreciate you all. Thanks for listening, y'all. Today's episode was nuts. And I'll see you next week. Bye.